So it's really important to remember that Trump is not the government. He is the head of the administration. And our system differentiates between the government and the administration. This man was a political appointee, meaning that the administration appointed him for a temporary position. The civil servants are there all the time. They're a different kettle of fish. And so if we don't understand, even the commission, like people, like I joined the Trump, give me a break. You know, seriously, this commission is an independent body of academics. It is literally illegal by federal law for the State Department to put any pressure on this committee to come up with what they want. One of the things that we can learn from our Jewish brethren here is that the Jewish community, one, they don't attack each other in, publicly. They're very, even though تَحْسَبُهُمْ جَمِيعًا وَقُلُوبُهُمْ شَتَّى, the Quran says you think they're all united, but they're very divided as well. But they have an outward display. And the head of the religious the head of the religious desk at one of the major networks in the United States told me, of all the religious communities he covers, the most vicious with one another is the Muslim community. And that broke my heart when I heard that. When the Jewish community, I was with Muhammad Sanusi, Dr. Sanusi. I've been going for the last 4 years to the Baptists. They have a conference on religious freedom, and they invited me. So I went because Shaykh Abdullah bin Bay always says an empty chair is not a strategy. If they invite you, go. That's the prophetic practice. I went, and there was a man there. Every time I've gone to the right, there's always Jewish rabbis. Whenever I go to the left, there's always Jewish rabbis. They are represented in both sides of the aisle. There was a man there who'd written a book about Sharia. He spent about 10 minutes saying how evil the Sharia was. He didn't know I was Muslim in the room. Like, I'm in a suit and tie, just sitting there listening to him. I didn't say anything. When he finished, I said, can I talk? I said, first of all, I will agree with everything you said if you will agree that the Ku Klux Klan represents Christianity. Because everything you've described has nothing to do with my religion. Right. And I've spent 40 years studying this religion. And then they let me go on for about 20 minutes explaining the maqasid. I explained the 6 maqasid of Sharia, the higher aims of the Sharia. When I finished, when I went out, people came up to me and said, we've never heard that before. That was very illuminating. We've only heard that other version. We went from that meeting with Muhammad Sanusi to shoulder, which which is the left. There were the Jewish rabbis. They were at both groups, but we were the only Muslims at the right. And they have books on the table like, The Evil of Islam and things like that. I mean, literally, so if we're not in there to just create a kind of, even just a little bit of a pattern disruption to make them think. Because Thomas Cleary once told me, the brilliant scholar, Dr. Cleary told me once, most Americans cannot think about thinking about Islam.